What's going on, everybody? So a little slow recaps today. The cancer treatments and all the side effects slow me down a little bit, but that's okay. We're okay. Let's get into it. So nice little recap today. Had a beautiful day this morning. Start with the X calls like always this morning. About 3 hours or so, I gave everybody a freebie outlook on the short anchor VWAPs. These are anchor VWAPs we use from the prior day, and they needed to be back tested as support so we could go long. That was the whole thesis of our private groups trade strategy. And we hit that 2 hours later. So posted that 3 hours later, hit it within the 2 hour later. And then we called the long, and I showed everybody a little example of the NQ entry down 19,460 was my initial entry, jumped in with a few more on 7 and wrote it up. And again, timestamps are right here. 0 edits as always, my average call out. And then I said we were going to right here, the long back test of the 50 SMA daily on the QQQ. So let's go take a peek on how that worked out. We'll start with the VWAPs first. So the volume weighted average price anchors. If you look at yesterday's force up, we had a pretty monster day. And as we like to see, back test and first tags never happen. So we had one counter trend short trade here. I'm going to cover in another video right here. It was a 44-point short, which a bad management trade we're going to go over this weekend here. It's going to be a bit longer winded, so I'm not going to cover that now. But the anchors from the data. So lower anchor, the opening, higher low anchor, this higher low, notice never got a back test, right? No back test anywhere. You don't see any candles hitting any of these anchors at all. So when we move into the next day after an algorithm force up, and of course, when our fibs complete, notice how we used a 5-minute Fibonacci high low from the data yesterday on jobs. Here's our fib box. Goes to 1618, 2618, and then of course, top of 475.67 is 4.236. So that is the end of the fib. So that is our short watch. Come into today's pre-market. Well, short watch. Very simple. Starts to break back down and give you the anchor VWAP targets. Now, what would you do for the anchor VWAPs? Well, we need live tags on these anchor VWAPs. This is live trading over here. This is obviously pre-trading over here. So we have hit, right? We called the short here. Watch the short back test of the anchors, came all the way down, hit the 2618 from the 423. So these fibs like to box themselves. They go back and forth. So once one is hit on the way back down confirms, it usually magnets to the 2618. So that did a pretty good one there in pre as well. Now we need live tags. So when the price action opened up, every one of these anchors needed to be hit before we had the long call to the 50 SMA like we said, right? So here's the push down, held the anchor number 1 tag. Obviously anchor number 2 was hit right away, and anchor number 3 needed a pop to reject right here, hold and push. So that was the long call. So anything for the short call in pre-market, down to the anchors, find the anchors for support, run it back up to the 50 SMA daily. Now let's take a peek at our moving averages. Now we're going to get back into the Qs here. As we've seen, oh, did we get a TOS crash? That's pretty common. Try another reopen real fast here. Thinkorswim, ever since that Schwab takeover there, man, she's been pretty much non-existent. Let's try to open up one real quick here for the breakdown. Sorry about that. We lose Thinkorswim quite a bit as it's the old dinosaur platform, right? Nothing new for us. So let's get into what we see here for the momentum, right? Hopefully we get a loaded TOS. Get the Qs going here. Hey, we got charts. All right. So as the Discord post said, and as we went long, this was the half candle retrace, right? So I do want to bring up here, again, a live trade example of the video that we had taken this morning. And we'll go over a little bit of that right now. All right, guys, as you see here, we're coming to another counter trend scalp Ola here on the SPY and Qs. We're going to take NQ trade. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. We're going to go to the next one. All right, guys, got a little bit of a counter trend scalp on your left chart here. We're looking at the QQQ. This orange dashed line on Qs is the half candle retrace, which means it's 50% of yesterday's candle. And right. So we're getting into this trade. We're coming through. I'm going to skip through a little bit. I called the half candle retrace right here. This is what we called in Discord, orange dash line right here. This is an example of what we do in Discord. So I narrate this whole trade in Discord all the way through the lives. We talk about it. We do show our charts on trades a lot of the time, unless they are high risk reward. We are always going through our members' safety as top priority. So as we get into this trade, you'll see here, we get in right at that half candle retrace. And we're going to scoot along here, right in that push.
And one of my
so there's my 7 contracts long up.
Percentile
going to push back up.
Winner trades here. We don't miss these.
Now you're going to see the consolidation. We're going to see set limits. You're going to see the fresh low.
Here,
we narrate the whole thing. So I don't want to spend too much time here, but this is a solid 20 minutes
lots of 5-minute gaps
of me
way up here.
narrating. Sorry, 20 minutes of me narrating through the fresh low break and then pop. And this is the reversal long to the 50. So again, we record these. All right, guys, had to do a little edit there and cut. We're back. So as we showed you guys, we do go through the live trading, right? And we narrate these trades live. Now let's talk about this early morning open trade from the half candle retrace to the 50. Now we called about 40, 50 points here on this one. It was pretty much a one and done. And then we had a little bit of a prediction for the rest of the day and where we potentially could go. So we opened up, we held that half candle retrace in pre. So this orange dash line is pre. We start to see the metrics oversold RSI. We get the 8 a.m. MAC cross here. We start heading upwards. Well, that's a good sign because we have called the 50 SMA, which is the red dash line daily. Okay, this is a daily chart coded into our intraday. So on the 5-minute chart, we see the daily 50 SMA. Okay, so into the 5-minute chart, we higher low from the half candle retrace and pre-market low. Push. We're holding higher lows consistently and push. Our second target was 200 SMA and 100 EMA. So we drew it out like that. And we said we would have an opportunity to see a push to both moving averages, right? So we have an opportunity to see not only MACD cross, higher lows producing, our support call hit, and the momentum up. That was all we needed. So we entered in to the long. I was long in pre. We added here again to the push back up. We got about 1.5 points on this. Now it's 40 points on NQ to 1 point on Qs. So if you get about a point out of this, it's about 40. And then if you get another half 20, it's 60 points. We call it a beautiful 60-point long here as we rolled back up into another test of the gap. We said we'd probably go to yesterday's highs. Now, just to touch on SPY real quick. I do want to show you guys here that we have targets above as well. So we have a couple different targets for SPY to kind of climb to the top here. I was calling back here pre-market open. So the last prediction long I gave my friends here in the Discord was wait for the pullback, right, from yesterday's highs, reset the indicators, right? So we're hot on our side. We're on the backside on MAC. We need to see these reset up. It comes down to that 0 line for the cross and it needs to do this. The RSI comes down to the 50, needs to do this, right? We don't just go in a straight line in the market. We need to wait for these oscillation indicators on the bottom to send us signals when the market is ready to continue that trend. So what we have right here is a continuation play to the pre-market open. So my last and final prediction was long out of the gate here on the Q, 60-some points. And we're going to get a continuation on SPY. Anything above hold VWAP is what I call it. So volume weighted average price is the purple dash line right here. And if we maintain above the VWAP, which we broke into it, holding higher lows, we will continue back up and we'll get a high day of 554. And that's the final prediction long. Now it is a fail breakout Friday. Generally, these don't work out super clean because of Friday. We didn't have a lot of data. Housing starts, we had Michigan Fedflation, didn't really push too hard. So kind of non-events. So we're waiting for oscillation indicators to do the resets, come back down, give us some pattern play, some price action play, and potentially push us back up here. Low grade trade, nothing super amazing, but just to keep it in the point, that can happen. But because it is a slow volume grinder of a Friday, we do got to keep that in mind where we generally don't always have the perfect follow throughs on Friday. So with that being said, that is literally it. We had perfect calls today on Discord, perfect calls on the X. We had a very clean day here. If any of this stuff interests you and you want to trade live with us and my business partner, Connor, we trade live and narrate these trades every single morning. We have a full premium Discord and post all those trades, like you said, that we possibly get into, outlooks on the market for the full day. If you want to support the channel, we have Apex codes and Top Step codes in the description. If you found some value here and want to give back to the channel, it's always much appreciated. Not mandatory. And if not, no big deal. We'll catch you on the next video. You guys take care. Have a good weekend.